Well, that's the Pagon Shetson Road to Glory all done with. Now I could do with a new challenge. Probably doubting anyone in the local Costa in Shetson's probably going to have anything. Anyone got any football manager vacancies going? Nope, they literally are all statues in here. It's ridiculous. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? Let's answer this. Hello, AccessEuphoria speaking. How can I help you?
Hey Access, it's Spanish and Barcelona defender Piqué. I am guessing you have heard of me?
Oh, well, of course. How can I help you, PK?
Great, well young football club Andorra and have a dream to make them a European giant, leading to major glory. I am looking for a new manager. You have seen your work on YouTube and thought, why not? Are you up for a challenge?
Well, certainly. I love a good challenge, or road to glory, you may say.
Fantastic. We don't have a lot of money. Or post facilities, is that an issue?
That's not an issue at all. I can bunk with some staff or just, sleep on the street or, I'll find somewhere. It's not a major issue. The only thing is I would have one small request.
Sure. What is it?
I would just like to bring my own director of football in, really, just to help with some things. It's obviously gets challenging bringing all these youth players in as I do. So if we can bring someone in, that'd be awesome.
Go for it. As long as you are under the budget, I am happy.
Perfect. I'm game then for this, if you are.
This was painless. When can you start?
I can literally leave right this second, so I can be there as soon as possible.
Pleasure doing business. See you when you arrive.
Great. Well, I guess we best learn about FC Andorra then, because that's where we're going. So we've got the job. Best actually check where on earth we are going to. I'm sure, just like myself, you have not come across FC Andorra all that often whilst you've been around. And if you do, then please do get involved in the comments. Let me know bits that you know about them if you've managed them before, anything like that. That'd be awesome. But otherwise, we're going to look at their official website, which is kind of a nice one, really, for a lower division team. You can kind of see where PK's money is going into, really. It's a really nice sort of thing. I've translated it to English as best as I obviously possibly can with good old Google. But they speak Catalan, because they're in that sort of region, and also Spanish and French. So if you look down then, we've got some nice little news articles going on. Got their official Twitter, which I will be dropping a cheeky follow to keep up with what they're doing. And obviously, speaking of Twitter, if you don't follow me, guys, feel free. It's at AccessEuphoria, and you'll keep up to date with any sort of comings and goings. Bit more news going on there. The supporters card, which looks quite nice. The playing staff with a nice little picture there. And then I really like this little history bit with a nice little retro kit and ball. That looks quite cool, to be honest. And to break it down, it doesn't translate amazingly well, this, but to break it down for you, obviously, you can go and look at this yourself. You can go check out Wikipedia. There are loads of stuff about the club on Wikipedia as well. But the main bits really are that this was the first Andorran football club established back in 1942. And there was no Andorran leagues or anything like that, so they asked to join their neighbours Spain. They permitted it, FIFA allowed it, and they've played in the Spanish divisions ever since. And then they've had a decent few spells here and there, but most have been around the third tier of Spanish football. They did beat Barcelona and Espanyol on the way to a Copa sort of cup a little while ago, a Catalan sort of cup, around 1994 sort of time. So they've had a little bit of a decent spell, but otherwise they've not really hit the dizzying heights of anything. Now, only a few years ago, they was facing extinction and going out of business because they had massive financial troubles, and that's when the Cosmos Group, led by Mr. PK, who offered us our job a few minutes ago, came in to save them. Now, they got promoted from the 5th tier to the 4th tier, but then have found themselves in the 3rd tier due to a club, I can't remember their name, it does say it on here somewhere, there is CF Rus Deportivo, went bust basically. Well, they're having financial troubles, so they got relegated down, and FC Andorra paid €452,000 to take their place in the Segundo B division, which is the 3rd tier of Spanish football, and that's where we will find ourselves in this game. The only sort of other thing to really mention is that I like how they called it our field on the website. They can't even justify calling it a stadium. It is tiny. They sort of state it holds about 530 people. FM, I think, has it slightly higher. But, I mean, it's just like a road and all sorts around it. So, and you can have people sort of on these hills with binoculars. So I think, realistically, it's endless capacity. But this is kind of the challenge that we're going to face with Andorra, is that they've got, real lower division facilities. So we're going to have to do massive improvements there on our journey, on our road to glory, improving the squad, improving the club, and making it a giant. So let's get into FM and check out what we've got in store for us. Hey gamers, we are here in the FC Andorra series. We are here on FM20. Now I'm recording this part on the beta just so that it's up there, guys, kind of before the main game comes out, which if you watch this on the day that this comes out, on the Monday, the full game is releasing tomorrow. I have tomorrow off work, kind of plan that nicely, so that I can then basically wake up, start the game, and crack on and get you the episode 1 proper out for 5 p.m. And then obviously each day, Monday to Friday, there'll be a daily content of this series out at 5 p.m. And if we hit certain goals and you're really enjoying the save, then please do smash that like button. And if we hit certain like goals, then we might do special bonus content on the weekends as well. And especially if you guys request it down in the comments. If you're enjoying it, use your voice. Comments, like buttons, awesome stuff. Now, here we are. We're going to kind of skip through some of this new introduction stuff. It's kind of the same stuff you saw via emails anyway. You can see a little bit about the club there, the stadium. 1,221 seat capacity. Seems to be a little bit higher than it was in FM19, which is what kind of based some of that introduction part off from. But still nothing huge. I think the league above us, like the second division, you need to have like a 5,000 capacity. So we're going to be screwed straight away when we get promoted. So God knows what's going to happen with that. That's all part of the fun and the journey, guys. Squad we're going to look at when we get into it. The main thing off this brand new club vision screen you can see here is that they're quite similar to kind of what I set myself. Now, I've set a goal, a kind of rule of the save, that apart from the first transfer window, every other one, we can only sign under 23 players. And the club's kind of gone for the same thing. They want me to sign under 23 players. So that's going to be a huge tick, because that's basically all we're going to do, apart from that first transfer window, which you'll know why that I've kind of relaxed it for the first transfer window once we get into things. Otherwise, work for the wage budget, and they're only really expecting us to get like top half finishes and things like that. We're hopefully going to do a hell of a lot better than that. Obviously going to do all the interviews and things like that, and here we are in the game. Now, before we get started, because I'm sure people will ask in the comments, this is the FM skin version 1.3. It is up on FM Scout. I will drop a link in the description, so go get it from there if you do enjoy it. I don't usually use skins, but it looked pretty cool, and I've seen a few people using various ones, and when I went on FM Scout to have a look at a few, this looked pretty good. There was a few others as well, I think like TCS skin or something like that, I think Workspace is using, but this one looked pretty cool, so I'm using this one for now, and obviously if I do change my mind, then I'll probably change it and update the links, but hey ho, here we are, guys. So, before we get started, I want to cover some of the rules. Now, I will probably put a little insert into the start of each episode with kind of the rules and things like that. But basically, apart from this first transfer window, where we have no kind of rules, second transfer window onwards, so from like the January window onwards, forever, we can only sign under 23 players. The reason we don't have that rule from the start is the fact that we need to get promoted in this first season, and it's going to be ridiculously hard. I'll show you in a second why. But apart from that, that is the rule. Now, what I would love to know from you guys is any other kind of rules or little quirks that you'd like to put into the save to make it fun or interesting or challenging even more. Please do let me know in the comments. So the one that I've kind of set in stone is going to be the under 23. No one above that can be signed apart from this first window. But if there's any others you want to see, let me know in the comments down below, guys. Otherwise, one thing before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of it that I want to show you is the fact that obviously I have Patreon. I don't push it massively, but obviously brand new season, I do want to put it out there. Aidan Dewsnap has been a long-term patron on Patreon. Very hard to say that. And therefore, what I've done this year is I've developed my own kits. I've made some kits there, which I think look pretty decent. And Aidan Dewsnap is the shirt sponsor on there. So if you guys do want to support the channel at any point, and if you can, that is absolutely awesome. It really helps me develop content and bring new things to you guys. Then I will put any patrons that are in those relevant tiers, which I think any above the first one, you will get yourself on the shirts as shirt sponsors. So it is a little bit of something cool that I kind of want to put back in there. And as with all my saves, we will also be doing kind of region naming giveaways and things like that. So do look out for those. But I want to quickly show you that just so you can see, because you might have already spotted like one of the kits coming up and be like, that's weird. But yeah, made these kits. That's why there's a kind of name on the shirt. It's the Patreon. So you can happily get yourself on there if you choose. Now, that's those kind of bits covered. I'm trying to look at my little thing to make sure I don't miss anything off. I think I've covered all that. Obviously, if you've watched my series before, you'll know that we're going to go regen hunting big time to try and get in some awesome looking players. Now, if we look at the finances to start with, it ain't looking pretty good. We've got 464,000 in the bank, which you might think that's pretty decent. 130,000 transfer budget. We've got a wage budget available of, I think, what was it, about 20,000 or something? Don't really show it too well on here. I feel like it should show you better than that. Let's go home. It shows you better on here. So yeah, 21,000. That's pretty decent. That's like the best bit of it, really. But if you look at the projections of the club, oh my days, it is dreadful. We're predicted in a few years to be 8.8 million in debt. That is redonkulous. We just don't turn over money. And even in like the top flight, doesn't seem like you earn money. Even for winning a league, I think you get a few million quid. There is no kind of major money in it. Unlike England, where you just get absolutely tons of cash, even if you finish bottom of the league. It seems like we're really only going to get the major money from getting in the Champions League. A bit like our smaller saves, like your Midlands, your AIKs, and so on. Your smaller teams where you basically only earn your money, like when we did with Pagon in the last year's game. As soon as you get the Champions League kind of group stage money, you start really churning that cash in. But I think that's going to take us a hell of a long time. So the only way we're going to progress in this save is by buying cheap and getting free players, kind of getting the best out of them for a season, and then flogging them for a few million here and there. And that will then basically give us enough money that we can then sort of spend half of that money on, let's say, facilities, or half that money on a bit of debt, probably, and then the other half on bringing in some more players that we do the exact same with. And I think we're going to be doing the buy to sell all the way up to us getting into Europe. So it's going to be a very, very challenging series. It's not kind of, oh, we're in Spain, it's going to be super easy. It's, we're in Spain, it's going to be super, super difficult. So that's that. Now, the overall aim, as I mentioned, is to overthrow Barcelona and become the best club in the world. Now, there's various ways you can sort of see this, but the easiest one that I'll show you right now is the European club list. You can see basically Barcelona is down as the best club in Europe. Now, we're going to be a hell of a long way off that. It's no point even scrolling all the way down. We're like a 3 and a bit star. So we've got to make our way all the way up here and overthrow them. And we're going to have to do that via winning a lot of leagues, Champions Leagues, Europa Leagues, Cups, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be ridiculously difficult, trust me. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to give it our best shot, and hopefully we're going to get there. But yeah, so it's going to take a long journey. It's very similar to us doing our building a nation, except we're not building an actual nation. We're building this club and trying to overthrow them. It's not just a case of, oh, we're going to win the Champions League and the save's over. We're going to have to win a lot of them and consistently to overthrow Barcelona. Just saying, it's going to take one hell of an effort here, guys. Have a look at the club info in terms of some of the bits there. General, obviously, there's not really any legends or favourite personals or icons, things like that. There's no sort of trophies. So we've got so much kind of things we can do with this club. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting. In terms of the staff then, I'll quickly show you the squad. You can see here our best player is a 34-year-old striker who actually looks pretty decent, but he's 34 years old. So I very much would imagine his physicals, which are alright, are going to drop away drastically. And we've got no resale value in him. So we massively need to try and churn out these guys that are older and on the last legs and bring in some youngsters that we can make a big profit on. That's kind of what we're looking at. But yeah, I'll have a quick little flick through here just whilst we're finishing up the chatting. And obviously, if any players in particular you want to look at, you can then pause the game and look at those players in particular. But I won't show you the staff in this episode. We'll probably cover them in a couple of episodes' time. But I will flick on them just before we go to basically show you that we are sort of weak in the staff area. It needs some vast improvement. We don't even have a head of youth development right now. So, I mean, look at that guy. He looks a bit angry there. Pinga looks a little bit angry. But yeah, we definitely need to improve the staff. But I think we've got a good base of squad here. It's not dreadful. We've got a few decent players knocking around. But, I mean, this guy, Fede Bassoni, used to be at Leeds. Like, for literally, I don't think he played many games. Like, he did 6 games, and I imagine many of them were probably subs. I was like, hang on, can I recognise that name? But I couldn't remember why. So I looked at his history. I was like, oh my god, he played at Leeds. But yeah, he's kind of one of those random players that joined us for a little bit and never really made an impact, clearly. But yeah, so that's kind of the squad. It's going to need a massive involvement. But what I really want for you guys is any tips about Spanish lower leagues, things like that, please let me know. as you can see, we'll finish up with kind of this. The Spanish second division, which technically is the third division, it's very weird. All these top 4 places are all playoff places. And now there are 4 separate divisions. You can see here B4, we're in B3, there's B2 and B1. All 4 of them, all together, the teams that finish top 4 go into playoffs against each other. That's kind of how it reads in the rules. Even though the top one is green, they're all playoff ones. So that is really, really going to be hard. There are only, obviously, 4 spots to get promoted. If you look at the proper second division here, there are only 4 relegation spots, so only, obviously, 4 promotion spots. So out of 24, 80 teams, and then eventually 16 in the playoffs, we've got to be 4 of the best, basically. That is going to be hella hard. So that's kind of why the first rule, the under-23, isn't applying, because we've just got to build a squad that can get us promoted. The first season is going to be the hardest. I think once we get up here, we've got a top 6 to aim for some promotion hopes, and I think that's a lot easier. And obviously, once we get to the top division, our first season is all going to be out just kind of staying up and then building. Like I said, it's going to be a very, very difficult save. If you've got any sort of tips about Spanish lower leagues, if you support Andorra or anything like that, please do let me know down in the comments. That would be absolutely awesome, guys. But I think that's going to pretty much show us over. As mentioned, I would quickly show you this. Now, there is going to be a special director of football coming into the club, but we'll cover that a little bit later on as well. Won't do it in today's episode. That's for a future little funny intro part, I think. So yeah, guys. But that's kind of our introduction, our goals for the series, a little bit of a look at the squad there. And in the next episode, then episode 1 proper, will also be on the full release of the game come tomorrow. So 5 PM, check that out. We will do transfers and basically get ourselves to the first game of the season. Now, like I said, we haven't really got tons of money, so I wouldn't expect any big name signings. But we're going to look for maybe some loans here and there. Maybe see if we can get any free players, any that are available right now that's not been tapped up. I don't really know a lot about Spanish lower leagues, so I've not got any go-to players around here, but we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can do a bit of decent business. Maybe some youngsters come in that have got a bit of potential and therefore a bit of sell-on value. But who knows? Who really knows? But I'll see you for the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon.